Hey everyone, I'm Drex, and this is the 2 Minute Drill where I cover 3 hot security stories twice a week, all part of the 229 Project cybersecurity and risk community here at This Week Health. Sign up at thisweekhealth.com/subscribe, and you'll get all the latest healthcare insights, including, of course, our security and risk updates. Great to see everyone today. Here's some stuff you might want to know about. The FBI and others are warning that Scattered Spider, that ransomware group I talk about regularly here, that Scattered Spider is targeting employees through Slack and Microsoft Teams. Now, when you read the article, there's a bunch of interesting info, but the one point I kind of got stuck on, I wanted to make sure that I passed along. I've heard this before, but I've never actually experienced it myself. Once you're in the middle of a cyber incident, organizations often take to Slack or Teams or conference calls to help manage that incident. But in this case, Scattered Spider creates new identities in those apps so they can participate in those calls. They're quietly listening to your remediation activities so they can figure out how to sidestep your actions. So if you've trained your staff on email phishing, and of course you have, now's the time maybe you have to extend that awareness to your internal chat platforms. And you need a process to make sure that you know and roll call everyone on any remediation call. And when that happens, you got a much better chance of avoiding having a bad guy lurking in the back of the virtual room listening to your every move. And make sure that you also integrate that same behavior into your training. Here's another creepy look behind the curtain. New reporting out of Australia walks through leaked chat logs from the Conti ransomware group. And honestly, it kind of feels like a really bad Office episode. I've talked about this before, how cyber gangs operate a lot like regular commercial companies. They have HR policies and management layers and performance reviews, and even things like drama around who gets the best equipment. They're not hoodie wearing loners. They're structured, well-paid, and running ops like a modern day tech startup. If that tech startup was in the business of stealing your money and info and breaking care for patients and families. Healthcare organizations haven't been up against disorganized criminals for the most part for a while. A while back, I had a post where I had to eat crow on that statement, so I'll just adjust it and say for the most part. But in most every case today, you're up against global operations that are structured a lot like your own, just with worse ethics and better funding. CISA just released a tool called Thorium. It's built for malware analysis and forensic investigations. It's free and open source and based on years of internal work at DHS. The platform helps defenders isolate, analyze, and track malware in memory. The intention is to make deep dive investigations more accessible to smaller security teams. And this is not a recommendation. I've not used it, but I'd say it's worth a look. And if you've checked out CISA's Thorium, I'd love to hear from you. I'm Drex at thisweekhealth.com. And the final story today, according to new intel from CrowdStrike, North Korean operatives have quietly embedded themselves in hundreds of U.S. companies, including healthcare. They're being hired remotely, sometimes using deepfakes and fake IDs, and then they're wiring their paychecks back to the regime. CrowdStrike estimates that over 900 active operatives are currently working under assumed identities in U.S. organizations. And based on some of the reporting that I've read and that I've done since May, I wonder if that number is even higher. More on all those stories and a lot of other healthcare innovation, tech, and security news at thisweekhealth.com/news. And you can find all our security podcasts, including all the ones you might have missed, at thisweekhealth.com/unhack. That's it for today's 2-minute drill. Thanks for being here. Stay a little paranoid. I'll see you around campus.